And please do switch them off so we do not have any disturbances in tonight's performance. Now, I would like to welcome the cast to the stage.
With your eagle here. Welcome to this, the Victoria Park Players Summer Show.
Christmas!
Ah, yes indeed, our Christmas show. Most unfortunately, as some may remember, the airwaves in the summer were filled with news of Great Britain withdrawing, some would say prematurely and without correct precautions, from the League of Nations. Well, interest in that little upset seems to have waned, so we have again been granted just enough wireless space for this, our brand new summer
Christmas!
Yes, indeed, Christmas show. But where better to start than with a visit from everybody's favourite schoolboy and his chums. This one's by a proper writer, so those of you here in the audience, please pay it due respect. We present William and the Christmas Party by Richard Compton, clearly one of the marvellous Compton family, footballers, cricketers, and evidently writers.
It was Rishwell Crompton, and she's a woman.
A woman? Not Richard, a woman?
Yes, now do it properly, please.
Well, please enjoy, if you can, a little of William and the Christmas Party, written by a woman.
Hubert's mother's idea that the Outlaws versus Hubert Laynight's feud should be abolished.
Christmas? You know, the season of peace and goodwill. If they don't bury the hatchet this season, they never will. It's absurd of them to go on like this. Think how much happier they'd be if they were friends.
Yes. I've tried, you know, but boys are so funny.
Yes, but they're very sweet, aren't they? Hubie's awfully sweet. I simply can't think how anyone could quarrel with Hubie. We'll make a real effort this Christmas to put an end to this foolish quarrel, won't we? I feel that if only your Willie got to know my Hubie properly, he'd simply love him. He would really. Everyone who really knows Hubie loves him.
Yes.
I thought out how to do it. If you invite Hubie to Willie's party, we'll insist on his coming. And we'll invite Willie to Hubie's. And you insist on his coming. And then it will be all right. They'll have to get to know each other. And I'm sure learn to love each other.
Yes. Then we'll begin by just getting...
Begin and end, my dear Mrs. Brown, by making them attend each other's Christmas parties. I'm absolutely convinced that they'll love each other after that. I know anyway that Willie will love Hubie. He's the most lovable boy you can possibly imagine.
Yes.
When it was broached to William, he was speechless.
Him? Ask him to my Christmas party? I'd sooner not have a Christmas party at all than ask him to it. Him? I wouldn't go to the King's Christmas party if he was going to be there. Not if I had to be beheaded for it. Him? Well, then I jolly well won't have a party at all.
But Mrs. Brown was unexpectedly firm. The overtures, she said, had come from Hubert's mother, and they could not in all decency be rejected. It was the season of peace and goodwill.
No one's ever peaceful or good-willing to me at it. I don't want to bury no hatchet, except in his head. Him wanted to come to my Christmas party. Cheek.
It's no use, William, I've promised. He's to come to your party and you're to go to his. And Mrs. Lake is quite sure you will be real friends after it.
Me? Friends with him? I'll never be friends with him, except in a lunatic asylum.
William, I'm sure he's a very nice
this by a partially dumb and very realistic show of nausea. But, faced with the alternative of Hubert Lane and his friends as guests at his party, or no party at all, William bowed to the inevitable.
All right, I'll have him then. And all right, I won't do anything to him or to any of them. I'll wait till it's all over. I'll wait till he's been to my party and I've been to his, and then I'll be jolly sorry you ain't made us do it, because we'll have such a lot to make up.
Mrs. Brown, however, was content with her immediate victory. She sent an invitation to Hubert Lane and to Bertie Franks, Hubert's friend and lieutenant, and to Hubert's other friends, and they all accepted in their best copperplate handwriting. William and his outlaws went about sunk deep in gloom.
If it wasn't for the trifle and the crackers, I wouldn't have had it at all. Not with him. And it'll have to be a jolly fine trifle. Practically all cream to make it worthwhile.
His mood grew darker and darker as the day approached. He even discussed with the outlaws the possibility of making a raid on the larder before the party and carrying off trifles and jelly and fruit salad into the woods, leaving the Hubert Laneites to arrive and find the cupboard bare and their hosts flown. William, of course, could not watch the preparations for his party and maintain his unbroken poise of aloof displeasure. The trifle was, he was convinced, the finest trifle that had yet been seen in the neighbourhood. There were jellies of every shape and hue, and there was an enormous iced Christmas cake. And there were crackers. The outlaws and their supporters, as arranged, arrived first, and stood around William like a bodyguard waiting for the Hubert Laneites. They wore perfectly blank expressions, prepared to meet the Hubert Laneites in whatever guise they presented themselves, and the guise they ultimately presented themselves in was worse than the outlaws' worst fears. They were not surly foes. They advanced upon their host with an oily friendliness that was nauseating.
Thanks for asking us.
It was ripping of you.
I say, what topping decorations!
There, William, I knew it would be all right. They're so nice, really, and so grateful to you for asking them. I'm sure you'll be the greatest friends after this. His mother said he was a nice little boy.
William did not reply to this because there wasn't anything that he could trust himself to say. He was still restraining himself from hurling himself upon his foes.
Oh, I say, how ripping!
How topping.
It's simply a topping party, Mrs. Brown. It's awfully nice of you to ask us.
It's so nice to have you, Hubert.
See what I've got out of a cracker, William.
Hubert, out of a ring, squirted water into William's face.
I say, I'm so sorry, William. I had no idea that you would do that. I'm frightfully sorry, Mrs. Brown. I had no idea you would do that. You just came out to one of the crackers. I say, I'm so sorry, William.
It's quite all right, dear. It was quite an accident. We all saw. They shouldn't have such nasty things in crackers, but it wasn't your fault. Tell them you don't mind a bit, William.
But William had hastily left the room.
Now let's go and have a few games, shall we?
Ginger followed William upstairs and found him on the hearthrug in his bedroom, violently pummeling a bolster.
Why don't you go down and smash his face in?
Can't do anything. Not while he's in our house.
Willie, darling, come down. We're going to begin the games.
William and Ginger went downstairs, and the rest of the party passed off uneventfully.
Goodbye, Mrs. Brown.
There, William. I knew it would be all right. They were so grateful and enjoyed it so much, and you're quite friends now, aren't you?
But William was already upstairs in his bedroom. During the days that intervened, the Hubert Laneites kept carefully out of the way of the outlaws, yet the outlaws felt uneasily that something was brewing.
We've got to do something to them at their party, same as they did to us at ours.
Yeah, but what can we do? We can't just start fighting them. We've promised not to. And there's nothing else we can do. Just wait till their party's over.
But they'll never forget that water squirt.
Unless we do something back.
What can we do in their house with them watching us all the time? We must just think. There's 4 days, and we'll think hard.
The day of Hubert's party arrived, and they had thought of nothing. They met on the morning of the party in an old barn to arrange their plan of action. But none of them could think of any plan of action to arrange, and the meeting broke up gloomily at lunchtime. William walked slowly through the village on his way home. His mother had told him to stop into the baker's with an order, and it was a sign of his intense depression that he remembered to do it. He entered the shop and stared around resentfully. Then suddenly he realized that the mountainous woman in front of him was Mrs. Lane.
Yes, Hubie's party is this afternoon. We're having William Brown and his friends to put a stop to that stupid quarrel that's gone on so long, you know. Hubie's so lovable, and I can't think of anyone could quarrel with him. We're having a Father Christmas, you know. Bates, our gardener, is going to dress up and give out presents. I've given Hubie £3 to get some really nice presents for it to celebrate the end of the feud.
William waited his turn and went home for lunch. Immediately after, he made his way to Bates's cottage. It stood on the road at the end of the lane shrubbery. Behind the cottage was Bates's treasured kitchen garden, and at the bottom was the little shed where he stored his apples. The window of the shed had to be kept open for airing purposes, but Bates kept a sharp lookout for his perpetual and inveterate enemies, boys. William opened the gate, walked up the path.
Well, what do you want?
I say, you've got the Father Christmas things here, haven't you?
Yes, I've got the things. Yeah, they're all right. So there's no call to you come upset them all again. I've had enough of you coming in and mussing the place up.
I only wanted to count them and make sure we have the right number.
All right, go in and count them, and let's get a bit of peace, I tell you. I'm sick of the lot of you, I am.
William fell on his knees and began to make pretense of counting parcels. Suddenly, he looked and gazed out of the window.
I say, there's a boy taking your apples.
Bates leapt to the window. There upon the roof of the shed was Ginger, obviously in the act of purloining apples and carefully exposing himself to view. Bates sprang to the door and down the path towards the shed. Left alone, William quickly turned his attentions to the sack. He had to act quickly. He had to act solely upon his suspicions and his knowledge of Hubert and his friends. He began to change the labels of the little parcels, putting the one marked William onto the one marked Hubert, and exchanging the labels of the outlaws for those of the Hubert Laneites. Just as he was finishing, Bates returned, hot and breathless.
Did you catch him?
Nah, I'd like to wring his neck. I'd learn him if I got hold of him. Who was he? Did you see?
He was about the same size as me, or maybe a tiny bit smaller.
Well, you clear out. I've had enough of you mussing up the place, and you can tell the others that they can keep away too. I'm sick of the lot of you.
William took a hurried departure and ran home as fast as he could.
Oh, William, where have you been? You should have been home and getting ready for the party hours ago.
I've just been for a little walk. I'll be ready in time, all right.
I'm so glad that you are friends now, and that silly quarrel's all over. You feel much happier now that you are friends, don't you?
William snorted sardonically and set off down the road. The Hubert Laneites received the outlaws with even more nauseous friendliness than they had shown at William's house.
We are so very glad that you could come to Hubert's party.
Mrs. Lane has prepared a magnificent tea.
William felt anxious. Suppose that the plot that they had so obviously prepared had nothing to do with Father Christmas. Suppose that he had wasted his time and trouble that morning. They went into the hall after tea.
Now, boys, I've got a visitor for you.
Bates, inadequately disguised as Father Christmas, entered with his sack. He took the parcels out one by one, announcing the name on each label.
William.
William took it and opened it, wearing a sphinx-like expression. It was the most magnificent mouth organ that he had ever seen. The mouths of the Hubert Laneites dropped in horror and amazement. It was evidently the present that Hubert had destined for himself.
Hubert.
Hubert received his parcel. It contained a short pencil with a shield and a rubber of the sort that can be purchased for a penny or twopence. He went back to his seat, blinking. He examined the label. It bore his name. He examined William's label. It bore his name. There was no mistake about it.
Thank you so much for this ripping gift, Mrs. Lane.
Yes, dear, I'm so glad you like it. I haven't had time to look at them, and I told Hubie to get nice things.
Hubert opened his mouth to protest and then shut it again.
Thank you so very much, Mrs. Lane.
Yes, it's lovely, dear. I told Hubie to get nice things.
Ginger's was a magnificent electric torch. Douglas's present was a splendid penknife, and Henry's a fountain pen, while the corresponding presents for the Hubert Laneites were an India rubber and a notebook. Hubert Laneites watched their presents passing into enemies' hands with expressions of helpless agony. But Douglas's parcel had more than a penknife in it. It had a little bunch of imitation flowers with an India rubber bulb attached and a tiny label. Show this to William and press the rubber thing.
Look, Hubert.
The fountain of ink caught Hubert in the eye.
Ow! I'm so sorry, Hubert. I had no idea it was going to do that. I just got it out of my parcel, and I had no idea that it was going to do that. I'm so sorry, Mrs. Lane. I had no idea it was going to do
Of
that.
course you hadn't, dear. It's Hubie's own fault for buying a thing like that. It's very foolish of him indeed.
Thank you so much for our lovely presents, Hubert. We've had a lovely time.
And Hubert, under his mother's eye, smiled a green and sickly smile. The outlaws marched triumphantly down the road, brandishing their spoils. William was playing on his mouth organ. Ginger was flashing his electric light, Henry waving his fountain pen, and Douglas slashing at the hedge with his penknife. Occasionally they turned around to see if their enemies were pursuing them, but the Hubert Laneites were too broken in spirit. As they walked, the outlaws raised a wild and harmonious paean of triumph.
Yes, dear, it's been a complete success. They're the greatest friends now. I'm sure it's been a Christmas that they will remember all their lives.
Now, before our next act, please welcome my co-presenter, Archibald. Archibald is a jolly good sort. Crikey, this is going to be a challenge. He's a jolly good sort. I read her, and he's hugely talented. I also read her. Archibald is just starting his career in wireless, having spent a lifetime in the closely associated activity of listening to one. By curious coincidence, Archibald is also the nephew of the Director General of the BBC. It does not say here. Come on, young Archie, take the microphone.
Hello, everybody. Gosh, where are they all? I can only see about 100. Where are all the listeners?
Do not be alarmed, young fellow. They are relaxing at home in their withdrawing rooms, gathered around their wireless sets, while their wives enjoy themselves in their own ways over the washing up.
So, that's why it's called the home service. But I can't see them.
Ah, that is indeed the wonder of the wireless, Archibald. I should have thought Uncle might have given you some tips in that regard. Now, when you see that little red light illuminated, and you speak into this wonderful device, and they can all hear you at home.
But what if the light is on and nobody's at home?
The condition to which I should imagine you are quite accustomed. Now, come along and introduce the next part of the broadcast.
Yes, righto. Well, we're now very proud to present the very first broadcast by the Metropolitan. I say, I love the Neapolitans, don't you? I like the little pale blue ones the best. I wonder if Metropolitans are the same.
Not quite, Archibald. Now just read on.
The Metropolitan Police? Cripes, Scotty, the Rozzers here! Oh, right, here they are, making their first public appeal from the wireless for help from the public. Did I do all right?
Jolly well done, Archibald. Now please, let the nice policeman get to the microphone.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to West Plimpton School. I'm honoured today to be taking part in the first live outside broadcast by the Metropolitan Police. We're here today with Mr. Henry Whittle and his wife, Mrs. Henry Whittle. Say good morning, Mr. Whittle.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We also have with us assembled members of the press. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Mr. Whittle is here today
And Mrs.
indeed
Whittle.
is here today to seek information about his son Harry, who has disappeared with a family pet, a rather valuable and highly bred whippet, given the name of Lady Madry Banks Dancy III, says here. The Hannibal was expected to win top prize at Crofts this year, and it is feared that young Harry may be intended by Darcy Ne'er-do-wells to sell the hound and make some easy cash for Christmas.
That ain't no hound. That's a will.
Excuse me, sorry. Peter Dantic, Times Literary Supplement. I just thought since we're in a school...
Please keep your questions to the appropriate happenstance.
Yes, quite so, but this isn't in fact a question, more of a comment. You see, Mr. Whittle here said, that ain't no hound.
And what of it?
Well, in the first place, ain't is a rather quaint corruption. It isn't. The common and rather vulgar form of is not, and is not suitable for polite parlance.
Oh, well, I realise.
Oh, please do not interrupt. There is more. You see, you then said, no hound.
Well, he's bang on there. It ain't no hound.
Ah, I see, it's a family trait. To say that it ain't no hound is to say that it is not a hound, and therefore is indeed a hound. You see?
Well, I suppose so.
Quite so. Now, Mr. Whittle, don't be nervous. Speak clearly.
Thank you, Inspector. Good morning, everyone. Me and the wife are here today to ask for your help.
Excuse me.
What on earth is it?
I just wanted to help Mr. Whittle. He said, me and the wife are here. That really should have been the wife and I, you see. And politeness would suggest my wife rather than the wife. Just wanted to help.
Tar very much.
My pleasure, and thank you was preferable to tar.
Oh, right. Can I go on?
May I? But yes, of course. Please continue. Just trying to help.
Okay, Harry. This is a message for you. Hello, Harry. It's your dad, Henry Whittle. We misses you, your mum and I.
We miss you, not Mrs. you.
Yeah, right. Hello, Harry. We miss you, your mum and I.
Excellent. That's the idea.
We both miss you, Harry. If you're listening, please try to contact your mum and me and I.
Oh dear. I'm going to have to stop you there. Easy mistake. It's correct to say your mum and I when they are the subject of the sentence, but in this case, of course, they are the object. Young Harry, is he Harry or Henry, one doesn't quite know, is being asked to contact you, the object. Not to worry, very common mistake. Please carry on.
I'm not sitting here with you being made fun of, Henry. I'll take over.
Oh, right, dear.
Now listen, young Harry. It's not fair on your dad.
It's not fair to your dad, please.
That's what I said.
I think you'll find you said fair on. It should be fair to.
Listen, will you just shut your trap and let me get my words out?
As you wish, only trying to help.
Right. Harry, get in touch with your dad and me. We obviously haven't run off with the dog because you thought we was disinterested in your problems at school and...
Oh, goodness me. One is rather shooting syntactical fish in a metaphorical barrel, but I'm going to load the dramatic Gatling gun and open fire. I think I heard a hope with no H and indeed with a redundant S. The voice non-sibilant interdental fricative of with became rather labiodental. We was, of course, should have been we were, and you meant to say uninterested, not disinterested, which I'm sure you know means independent, having nothing to gain from an outcome.
Well, I think it's something of a moot point that the Whittle's grammar displays errors typical of people without the benefit of...
Excuse me, officer, what did you say?
I was saying that the education of the working classes is a moot point.
I think you mean moot. Mute means silent, and they certainly aren't that.
If you say so. Mr. Whittle, please carry on.
I'll do this from now on, thank you. Harry, we hope you can hear us. If we'd have come to collect you earlier, this might never have happened.
There, my dear. If Harry was here now, he wouldn't blame you.
But he could be anywhere.
Just one tiny point, if I could have your attention.
What is it now?
No need to become irritated, only trying to help. The point is, Mrs. Whittle said, if we'd have come. Which really doesn't make sense in this context. If we had have come, if we would have come. One can watch the fog of confusion develop. If we had come, the pluperfect is the tense you really should have used.
Now, just a minute.
It's all right, Mrs. Whittle. I have nothing more to say to you.
Well, good thing.
Your husband, however, did make a tiny little error with if he was here. It really should have been if he were here. The subjunctive tense, I'm sure you'll recognise.
I'll thump you in your subjunctive if you keep aggravating me.
Antagonising.
What?
Aggravate means to make worse. The word you sought was antagonising.
Right then. Tell me if this is proper English. You have antagonised my husband and me. If Henry were to smack you on the nose, it would flatten it. And if he were to strike you with the other hand, he would aggravate the nasal injury.
Bravo! Absolutely correct.
Henry?
I'm warning you, Mr. Whittle, that almost looked deliberate.
Oh, just an accident, officer. Now, Mr. Danny, shall I aggravate the nose which I flattened?
The nose that you flattened, ideally.
The one that is in the middle of your face, I mean?
That's it.
Constable, arrest that man.
I was only trying to help.
Well, I think that's a suitable place to end this broadcast. On behalf of the West Plimpton Police Force, a very safe and happy Christmas from my officers and I.
And me.
Right,
you me.
Hello, what? Me, the star? Crikey! Oh, well, wasn't that exciting, hey? It's funny, when I was at school, it's the people who used to teach us grammar that used to belt me, not the other way round. I only hope the dog was listening. Amazing they can work the controls, really, isn't it? I say, you're right, old man.
Introduce the next act, for goodness sake.
Oh, yes, sorry. And here they are. Please give a jolly big clap for our next act. I suppose you don't have to clap if you're at home, do they?
No, you don't have to, Archibald. Please do get on.
Please welcome our next performer, Theo Fraser-Steele and his ukulele. His his banjo.
Good evening. I'd like to play a song about unrequited love, or stalking, depending on your point of view. How sweet and lovely, but what an affair. Not even a kiss since we met. You just won't love me, but I don't care, for I will get you yet. You can stop me from loving you. You can stop me from cuddling too. You can say, no, no, honey, that's all right. I'll get you on me own tonight, 'cause you can't stop me from dreaming. And you can stop me from holding hands. Make me listen to your commands. You can turn me down, honey, that's all right. I'll get you on me own tonight, 'cause you can't stop me from dreaming. From 1 o'clock till 9, I'll dream you're mine. I'll steal a kiss. Now look what you're gonna miss. You can't stop me romancing you. You're the boss now, but I'm not through. You can treat me mean, honey, that's all right. I'll get you on me own tonight, 'cause you can't stop me from dreaming. Yes, indeed. Take me to the bridge. For each night in the park, when it gets dark, I'll dream you there, with lots of love to spare, and we'll both sail on passion's wings. You can stop me from thinking things. Yes, I'll teach you things by hook or crook that you won't find in the cookery book, because you can't stop me from dreaming.
Very well done to Theo. I expect he's looking forward to his first grown-up guitar, eh? That's one for his missus at Christmas, what? I wonder if she's here somewhere, or maybe listening on the wireless. So, thanks to Theo and indeed to young Archibald. Take a rest now, Archie. There's a good chap. Perhaps you'd like to go and play with your colouring-in books. I think we should see a little what the younger generation can offer. with their very own rendition of, finally got away from the voice of Mr. Dantic, from the very own rendition of "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," the delightful duo of Dylan and Dylan and Rude Harry.
Rury.
What? Sorry, what?
That's his name, Reginald. Perhaps you could try to say it right this time.
Well, you said it, it's so easy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dylan and Rury.
"'Twas the Night Before Christmas" by Clement Clark Moore.
"'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hope that St. Nicholas soon would be there.
The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads, and Mama in her kerchief, and I in my cap, had just settled down for a long winter nap.
When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from the bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters and threw up the sash.
The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave the lustre of midday to objects below, when what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer.
With a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be St. Nick. Rapid than eagles his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name.
Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Donder and Blitzen, to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall, now dash away, dash away, dash away all.
As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky. So up to the house stopped the coursers they flew, with a sleigh full of toys, and St. Nicholas too.
And then, in a twinkling, I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my hand and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound.
He was dressed all in fur, from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack.
His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples how merry, his cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard off its chin was as white as the snow.
The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly.
He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old delf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread.
He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and filled all the stockings, and turned with a jerk. Laying his finger side of his nose, and giving a nod, up the chimney he rode.
He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim, ere he drove out of sight, "Happy
Christmas to all, and to all a good night."
Well, wasn't that simply splendid, unspoilt by the passage of years? Only a matter of time. Yes, Archibald?
Can I do this one, please? She's my niece, you see.
I see. Another one slipping through the little corridor of nepotism onto the stage. And here then is Archibald to introduce the next act.
Hello again, it's Archibald here. I'm the other one, not Reggie if you've just turned in. Sorry, Reginald.
Archibald, just introduce the act.
Oh, right, yes, sorry. And now we welcome to the stage Lottie Thornborough, who will act out a scene of a play all by herself. Hello, Lottie.
Archibald.
Sorry. And here is Lottie with a scene from Daisy Pulls It.
Off.
I'm going.
I mean, the play is called Daisy Pulls It Off.
Oh, I don't know that one.
And now get off.
Daisy Meredith, daredevil, tomboy, possessed of a brilliant mind, exuberant, quick-witted, fond of practical jokes, honourable, honest, courageous, straight in all things, and an elementary school pupil. Father, dead. Mother, a former opera singer who struggles to keep a home together for herself, Daisy, and Daisy's brothers, Dick, Douglas, Daniel, and Duncan, in a small terraced house in London's East End, by giving music lessons to private pupils. Daisy has recently taken an exam which will, if she succeeds in passing it, enable her to gain a place as the first ever scholarship pupil at Grangewood Girls' School, one of the most famous educational establishments in the country. If, however, she fails the exam, she must leave her elementary school at the end of the year and take up some form of ill-paid, menial work to which she is little suited. Thank you. I do wish the postman would hurry up and bring the letter containing the exam results, but it isn't even 8 o'clock yet. I must win the scholarship. I so want to go to Grangewood. How topping it would be to learn Latin and Greek, to play hockey on their famous pitch, to make friends with all those jolly little girls and have midnight feasts and get into fearful scrapes just like they do in books. I should miss Mother, Dick, Douglas, Daniel, and Duncan, of course, and all my chums at elementary school, but I must win the scholarship, for the sake of others as well as for myself. For if I, the first scholarship pupil at Grangewood, make a success of the scheme, Grangewood will open its doors to other elementary school pupils as poor as myself. Mother! Oh, Mother, I'm through! I've got the scholarship! I can go to Grangewood! I hope I make a success of it. I'll have a good education, pass all my exams, and then, when I leave, find a job as a teacher in an elementary school. And perhaps I'll earn enough money to buy Mother the country cottage she's always wanted, and to pay for Dick, Douglas, Daniel, and Duncan's education, if they haven't won a scholarship by then. The summer holidays passed all too slowly, for Daisy that is, until the time came to say goodbye to those she loved best. Right often, Mother. I'll be dying to know what you're all doing, and any news you might hear of my old school pals. Oh, we're off. Goodbye, Mother. See you at the end of term.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. One does like to see the younger generation coming through, even if they are somewhat hampered by having to share a bloodline with Archibald here. But now, we travel to a place of danger and romance, of risk and intrigue, of something else which says here, unrequited love and lost hairpins.
So, hold on to your hats and hairpieces as we transport you to Casablanca. Did I say it right, Reggie?
Yes, indeed you did. Now get away from the microphone.
How do you want to be done?
Oh, Rick, you Americans are so direct. I feel myself going quite red.
Okay, red it is. Blonde last week, brunette next. All come the same to me. Sam, change the channel. I ain't the kind of guy the BBC Home Service was made for.
Okay, boss. This is 1942, and there aren't many channels.
Then play something, Sam. You're gonna bring a piano in a hairdressing salon, you better use it.
What shall I play, boss?
You know what you can play, don't you?
I know that right enough, boss.
Then play something that ain't that. Okay, lady, you're done.
Oh, thank you, Rick. Can I give you a tip?
Let me give you one, lady. Don't keep your purse on the front of your frock when you got a cleavage like the Grand Canyon. I took $10. Here's the purse back. It's still warm.
I've never been treated like this before.
Then I guess you got lucky today, huh, lady? Now, out you go, and don't frighten the locals with that hair. Well, that's the last. I'm going out back for a whiskey. It's almost lunchtime. Look after the salon, won't you?
Hello, sir.
Hello, Miss Elsa. Didn't expect to see you here. Ain't seen you since you had that blow-away from Rick in Paris.
That seems a long time ago, sir.
Sure does, Miss Elsa.
Do you remember that tune we used to listen to on the BBC home service?
Can't say that I do, Miss Elsa. Sure was a long time gone.
I'll hum it for you, Sam. Dum, dee dum, dee dum, dee dum. Dum, dee dum, dee dum, dum. Dum, dee dum, dee dum, dee dum. Dum, dee diddly dum. Dum, dee diddly dum, dee diddly dum, dee diddly dum. Dum, dee dum, dee dum, dee dum. Dum, dee diddly dum.
Mr. Rick, he don't like that station. Says they play that tune, and when they do, he has to hit the bottle, miss.
Then play it yourself, Sam. Just for me. For old time's sake.
If you say so, Miss Elsa. You must remember this. The kiss is just a kiss.
I thought I told you to tune away from that station, Sam. Hey, that ain't no wireless station you're playing. I thought I told you never to...
Hello, Rick.
Of all the clip joints in all the towns in all the world, she walks in line.
You knew I'd come one day, Rick.
Are you alone?
No. I'm with Victor Laszlo.
Laszlo, the free hairdressers union maverick?
You know who I mean, Rick. He's leading the fight to free hairdressers all over the world. From the need to perm every woman who walks in.
I don't perm them.
And that's why I'm here, Rick. You're a loner too. You don't play to the rules. And Victor needs your help.
Hello, Rick. Most unusual to see you talking to a customer without her falling for your dials. Good afternoon, madame. I am Captain Louis Peugeot of the Hairdressers Union.
I'm pleased to meet you.
What can I do for you, Captain? You don't make social calls. A little something for the weekend, perhaps.
Now, Rick, you will embarrass this young lady. I thought you might be interested to know that there will be an arrest this evening in the Blue Rinse Lagoon Salon. We believe that a lady customer is to be given a shortcut, blow dry, with no attempt to give her a permanent wave.
Why would that interest me?
Oh, I know you take an interest in things of that kind. And I know that you run a clean salon where every woman leaves permed. Now I will leave you. Good night, madame.
Good night, Captain. Oh, Rick. Victor's going to the Blue Rinse Lagoon. What if he's there when they raid?
Now, whatever he is. He's your problem, not mine.
But, Rick, don't you remember Paris? When the Germans marched in?
Sure I do. You had an updo, the Germans had crew cuts. What of it? And then I left, and you went on that train.
I couldn't get on that train, Rick. You gave me the best peekaboo bang of my life that night. And I couldn't ruin it in the rain.
So you stayed to save my professional blushes, huh? And ended up in Laszlo's hands.
Victor is a fine man, Rick. His styles will liberate hairdressers across Europe and beyond. I did not know where you had gone.
Well, now you found me. Hooray. Go tell Laszlo I'll never stock his range of hair care products. His problems ain't mine.
We'll see each other again, Rick.
Maybe we will. Maybe we will.
What you gonna do, boss? I think she's still got something bubbling in there for Miss Elsa.
I need to get it out of my system. I'm going to Rick's gym.
I'll come and play some music, boss. Getting that big old piano down there is enough exercise for me.
At the gym.
Hello, Sam.
Miss Elsa, you followed him.
Play it, Sam.
I played it before, miss.
Play it again, Sam.
Okay, Miss Elsa, but he won't like it.
What do you think you're doing, Sam? Oh, you again.
Hello, Rick.
Of all the gym joints in all the towns in all the world, you're walking a mine.
Oh, Rick. If Victor is found at the Blue Rinse Lagoon, he will be arrested. Please, help me get him to America, where he will be able to fight freely for his cause.
And what can I do?
You know people. You can help Victor get work at the salon at the airport. And he can get the one plane out.
I gotta go. I got business.
No, Rick, stop. I won't let you go.
Hey, that hurt. Of all the hip joints in all the towns in all the world, you're walking a mine. Now out of my way.
Where's he gone, Sam?
I think he's gone home to cook his dinner, Miss Elsa. Please don't follow him.
Why not, Sam?
Well, first off, he ain't strong enough to keep seeing you, miss. And second, I ain't strong enough to keep dragging this here piano all over the place.
I don't care, Sam. I must see him. Only he can help Laszlo get to America.
Rick's kitchen.
Rick, I must speak to you.
Ain't no getting away from you, is there? Now let me get my brisket in the oven. Hey, be careful where you stand.
I'm sorry, Rick.
Of all the beef joints in all the kitchens in all the world, she walks in mine. And I'm gonna have to get these pants washed.
Shall I play it, Miss Elsa?
He's gone, Sam. We must follow him to the laundrette.
I ain't sure I can do that, miss.
Well, I can't wait.
A laundrette.
I had to follow you, Rick.
You. I'm getting tired of this.
You're getting tired.
I had to come, Rick.
Careful. These washing machines are delicate. Of all the hot pints and all the laundrettes and all the
Stop it, Rick.
Shall I play it now, Miss Elsa?
No, Sam. Miss Ilsa has to leave. Her friend, Victor Laszlo, needs her more than I do.
But I just dragged my piano across town, boss.
Let for me, Sam.
I'm your Rick, Sam. It's their song.
Laszlo!
Rick!
Victor!
Elsa!
Ain't nobody going to say my name?
Hello, Sam.
Thank you, Chief.
Mr. Laszlo, I am here to arrest you for inciting resistance to the norms of hairdressing.
You cannot arrest me here, Capitan. We are on neutral territory.
I can if Rick lets me have the letter.
What letter, Rick?
I don't know what he's talking about. I don't have no letter.
Then you won't mind if we search your salon.
Go ahead and tell me if you find a customer.
Oh, Victor. What letter is he talking about?
It's my letter to all the world's hairdressers. I have to get it to the United States, where we can publish it and fight for freedom.
Hey, Laszlo, is that a tiny rolled-up tube of hair gel in your pocket? Or are you just disappointed to see me?
Do you have it, Rick?
You think I'd tell you? If I had it, the salon police would find it, won't they?
Shall I play something now, boss?
No, Sam. I need to relax. Get my tapestry set, will you, Sam?
Here it is, boss.
No, Rick. This is no time for stitch work. Give me that.
Hey, of all the needle points in all the towns in all the world...
Oh, stop it, Rick. You are Victor's last hope.
Okay, I'll come clean. I've got the letter. Tell Laszlo to get to the airport whilst Louis is searching my place.
Tell me yourself, Rick. I'm still here.
Sure you are. Tricky to follow stuff on the wireless sometimes. So, get down there. I'll deal with Louis.
Do I have to come, boss?
Please do, Sam. The ending won't be the same without music.
Thank you, Rick. You are doing me a great service.
I'm doing it for Elsa. Now get going.
Oh, Rick, you're a good man. Kiss me, Rick. Kiss me as if it were the last time. But please, be careful of my hair.
Now get down to the airport with Laszlo.
The airport.
Your attention, please. The toy plane for Portugal is ready to depart for the boarding at Gate 1.
Hey, here's Victor's ticket and here's yours. Now get on that plane. We both know you belong with Victor. Without Victor, your hairdo will simply fall apart. If that plane leaves the ground and you're not with him, you'll have no choice but to have a permanent wave. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon, for the rest of your life.
But Rick, you can get yourself out. Set up your own radical salon in peace.
It don't take a genius to see that the problems of three little people don't amount to a tin of Brill cream in this crazy world.
Rick, stop him!
Stop it right there, Louis. I've got a hairdryer pointed right at your tooth.
My most vulnerable part.
Shall I play it, boss?
Yeah, whatever.
You are a soft ass, Rick.
What is the meaning of this, Peugeot?
Laszlo is on that plane.
Well, why
Here,
don't you
Chief
stop him?
Inspector.
Stop him.
Well, Rick here.
I wasn't afraid to blow Peugeot's teeth off his head, and I'll do the same to yours.
I'm going to stop that plane.
Don't do it.
You can't stop me.
Oh no, here goes.
Well, Rick, things are going to get pretty hairy for both of us around here now.
And then we both need new lives and new hairdos.
Both, Rick?
I'd like to offer you a job as a stylist, Louis. Just need to find somewhere for a salon.
I accept, Rick.
Louis, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful, liberal hair care cooperative.
Some wonderful emotional cinematic memories destroyed there. Now, to those of you familiar with the excellent new cinematic program Ice Cold in Alex, you may see yourselves as having sat through the odds in this terrible desert, devoid of any cover, no escape from the terrible sights and sounds around you, thinking only of the wonder of a glass of ice-cold beer. Well, the chance has arrived. We're now at the interval. So stretch those legs, lift those glasses, loosen those bowels and bladders, and prepare yourselves for more. And remember, the second half is after the watershed.
And as a chat to keep your spirits up while we're gone, it's the crooning crooner, Johnny Boy Moore. See you all soon.
Some bells to be rung, and a wonderful thing to be won. And even when I'm old and gray, I'm gonna feel the way I do today. 'Cause you make me feel so young. You make me feel so young. You make me feel so spring has sprung. And every time I see you grin, I'm such a happy individual the moment that you speak. I wanna go play hide and seek. I wanna go and bounce and move just like a toy balloon. You and I are just like a couple of sons. They're running across the meadows, picking up lots of cricket leaves. You make me feel so young. You make me feel when the stars pretty song, bells to be rung, and a wonderful
Sorry, they'd run out of Dean Bar.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Hello everybody and welcome back to this Victoria Park Players Summer Christmas! Indeed, our Christmas show. You know, I always thought this new karaoke thing was a team game. It seems the fellow before hadn't quite worked that out, didn't he? But welcome back to you all. And, you know, the page numbering is the most extraordinary thing. Thank you, Archibald. The wine is rather stronger than one had anticipated. Now, what says Christmas better to a chap than a fragrant wife, happily ensconced in her natural habitat? Kitchen! Indeed, I do not know where my kitchen is, but that's why I have a wife. Tonight we have a I'm sorry, there were some instructions about the extraneous noises during the We have a young fella here who's going to tell us what the ladies do to make their marvellous Christmas dinners. And so, please welcome to the microphone, Nigel Lawson.
Nigel.
I'm sorry?
She's a lady
Nigella. Sounds like something you might run on unexpected swelling, doesn't it? You detect a whooping. So, apologies, dear lady. Please welcome Nigella Lawson.
Hello, everybody. It's terribly exciting to have the opportunity to broadcast on the wireless like this, so that all you ordinary women will be able to give your hubbies just as much Yuletide satisfaction as I do. Gosh, that sounds simply awful. I only give pleasure to my own husband, of course, however undeserving. So, what shall we prepare for a Christmas treat? We like to get properly warmed up before the big event, and we break the ice with a little game over afternoon tea. We call it our petty foreplay. I like to blindfold hubby and my other guests, of course. And then they have to rummage around. To find my tasty little morsels. The real fun comes when they try to feed each other. You have no idea where they end up trying to force the fudge pieces. We do the same with the savoury treats, of course. And I can hardly contain myself when hubby tries to push his little pink chipolata into my volleyball. What a hoot. Some people are so far wide of the mark, they spend ages trying to shove their anchovy fingers into my poor little Pomeranian. But what about the real thing, I hear you cry? How do you make such marvellous feasts with so little? Let's talk turkey. Normally, of course, one simply sends out one staff to fetch the bird from the estate farm. But in these hard times, so many have got themselves injured or even killed in the war. Priorities are not what they were. So one has to go into the farmyard and get hold of a big, meaty specimen oneself. I must say, it really gets the blood up to be on the prowl for a big male. Hubby always made a point of running around after the hens. So why not? The males are easy to spot. They spend their time strutting around making themselves look as big as possible and trying to impress the ladies with their gobbling technique. But if you want to control one, he will come very quickly if you tickle him under the wattle. I approach a turkey on the slab, like my hubby on the settee, when he's had a few too many sherries, not to mention the empty whiskey bottle on the floor. By which I mean from behind, and brandishing a good, sharp knife. First, feel around for any rough patches of skin where it hasn't been properly plucked, and give anything you can a good, hard yank. Which rather reminds me of some rather jolly wartime Christmases. Roll the beast over and push your hand as far inside the biggest hole you see. Doesn't really matter which end you're working on, especially if the sherry was a strong one. Rub vigorously with butter. Sprinkle with salt and pepper, digging the fingernails in as hard as possible. Take a good handful of chestnut stuffing, hold the legs wide apart, and push it hard in. Sometimes you'll hear a little moaning noise. But it's only the air escaping. I assure you there's no real feeling. Hold the legs tight together. Bob, the old handyman, can help with this. and tied them securely with good, strong twine. Now you've got something to get hold of, and there's no chance of him slipping on the floor. Prick the flesh hard with the point of a sharp knife and twist. Makes no difference to the cooking, but somehow one does feel so much better for it. Now all you have to do is find an oven large enough to take the carcass. If the limbs touch the sides, don't worry. Just lean a heavy chest of drawers against the door. And have a darn good gin and it with Bob to celebrate. Well, what does one do when the carcass is in the oven? Christmas dinner is more than a piece of dead meat, you know. Above all, there's the pudding. That great, stodgy and largely unwanted lump of fruity, alcohol-soaked lard and dough. But that's enough about hubby. This is where I really need the strong arms of dear old Bob. He whipped the biggest stirring tool you've ever seen from out behind his apron. And he plunged it into my fruity concoction. Then he started pushing it jolly hard, and he kept it going for such a long time. Hubby gives up with a little sigh of about 20 seconds, claiming sore wrists. But Bob certainly finished the job. But don't you think there's more to Christmas than just food? I like to mix a little cocktail or two for my guests. Can't see hubby wanting one for some time. My favourite is a very sophisticated Manhattan, but my guest today is a little more old-fashioned. That'll be him now. That'll be him. The turkey in the oven must be nearly done, so he won't be troubling us. I'll just let my guest in.
Evening, Miss Nigella.
Merry Christmas.
I think we can safely say that was not a Nigel. And now over once again, unfortunately, to my colleague and friend Archibald.
Hell again? God, what is that terrible noise? Sounds like the Elvis won't start, or maybe Granny's being forced back into her closet. Let's go to St. Ethelreda's church and find out what the matter is.
Drat! My organ just isn't what it was.
Whatever is the matter, dear? You look so crestfallen.
Oh, Helen, my dear, I'm so worried about my organ. It used to be so powerful, ready for action at the first touch of skilled fingers. But now it just won't perform. It's almost time for the Christmas Eve midnight service. I so like to send my congregation to bed with a smile.
It isn't your fault, dear. It's just the passing of the years. Everything gets older, you know.
But I'm so ashamed. It used to be so powerful that I could hear people gasp as I went into action. At others, it could be as soft and gentle as a little kitten, and people asked to touch it to see if they could make it respond.
It was fantastic, wasn't it? When we first met, I must say that the thing that really made you stand out was your 2-foot night horn.
Yes, my favourite organ pipe. Do you remember what I asked you to do?
Of course I do. I thought it was a bit forward.
I asked you to put your hand on it whilst I whacked away at my old instrument as hard as I dared, didn't I?
You did, you frightful man. There you were, bashing away, and suddenly, pop! The poor little fellow just burst.
I hadn't used it for a while, and I should have known it would be all blocked up. Just needed a good firm pounding to clear it all out. You see, I was a bit inexperienced with meeting women, and had really only ever used my organ by myself.
But you mustn't worry about things like that not being so good now. And look, I found this notice in the vestry.
Oh, yes. Is your organ letting you down? Can't get it up.
It continues on the other side.
Oh, yes. To the hidings, like you once could. Pipes all blocked and nothing coming out. Even your wife and friends no longer want to get their hands on it. Worried about getting a bishop bashing if he pops around unexpectedly. You need the new organ Moody Waxer for Mac.
I think you should try it.
I think we should.
I'm so glad you said that. Because that's the waxer now.
Good morning, sir, madam. Organ not up to the job anymore. You've called the right people. And here's the waxer.
Gosh, it's quite big. You might struggle to get it up the rear passage. That's the only way to get proper access to my organ.
Come on now. I'm sure if we all push it together, we can get it up there. Come on, Vicar. Bend your back and we'll all shove.
Righto. Push. Ah! Ooh! Ooh! That's tight. Can you be a bit more gentle? Nothing's been up this way for quite a while. And I can't remember the best way to stand. I'm not really used to taking more than one at a time anymore.
I think we'll need another pair of hands. Roger, could you help, please? I hope you don't mind getting your hands dirty.
Hello all.
Oh dear, the verger's come in his cassock. That's going to need washing.
Yes.
Yes, this passage is rather grimy. Should have worn overalls.
I didn't have time to change. You caught me having a picnic lunch. I had to bring it along. Oh, I dropped my dessert. Sorry. Would you care for a cashew? A bit salty.
Oh, if you must. Please don't shove them at me. Now, did you bring your keyboard spanner?
Got it in my belt.
Goodness, I'd forgotten how big it is. Now, get down here and help me push.
What? Like this? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, Verger, do get a grip. You've come in your cassock, you've spilled your custard and forced your salty nuts in my mouth. And now you're pushing your flipping great tool up my surplus.
I'm sorry, Vicar. I'm just trying to get a good grip.
Thank you, Verger. Right. Now, come on. Keep pushing. It's only a small opening. There we are. We got there. Now what?
Righto, let's see the offending instrument, shall we? Oh, Vicar, you have been naughty. You've let all sorts play with your organ, haven't you? And I bet you never made them wash their hands first.
I know. I should be more careful, but people get so excited by the thought of getting to grips with my organ that I just say, oh, go on then, give it a good thumping.
Now then, I've been waxing Vicar's organs for years, and they come up beautifully. I think I can say that I have brought satisfaction to their horizontal trumpets and coupling flutes. And I'll do the same for your night horn once the wax has had a go. Let's start. I'll just rub on a little of the Lubu wax. There now.
Gosh! That's jolly slippery.
Isn't it? Now it's been Lubu wax, the waxer works by puffing and blowing in a sort of rhythmic way. And that clears all the sticky old goo in your organ and leaves it gleaming.
Is it easy to do?
Let me demonstrate first, then you can have a go. Remember, it's yours to keep if you buy it, so you can keep waxing the Vicar's organ whenever you fancy.
Could I have a go?
I don't see why not. Anybody can wax my organ as far as I'm concerned.
That's the ticket. Now let me show you how a professional waxer works. I need you in position, Vicar. Get comfy now. I need to get to the business end. Can you turn me on, please, Verger?
Righto, miss. Do I press here?
Oh, you chaps. Just pressing and pushing all over the place. Just there, that's it. On the button. Ooh, lovely. You can really feel that. Ready, Vicar? Get pumping.
How's that?
Not bad, but a bit quicker and harder, please.
Come on, Fiona. He's not used to this sort of thing anymore.
He's doing well. I'll get to work at this end and we should have something coming out in no time. Come on, Vicar, pump away. That's it, I can feel it now. A bit more back. Yes, that's it, don't get tired. And we're there. One lovely clean organ.
Oh, but you've got terribly sticky with all that wax, dear.
That's why I wear overalls. I've waxed half the Church of England and a good few Catholics too. I'm used to getting grubby.
Oh, I must say, that feels tremendous. I'd recommend a good waxing for anybody having organ trouble, whatever their denomination. And when your organ's feeling lax, Use Acme's Wonder New Wax.
Perhaps I should get my own little organ waxed. It's only a tiny one. I only play with it when my aunts come over for birthdays and funerals and such like, but I can't seem to make it too much either. I haven't got any of that magic wax, but Mama's got a big jar of TCP, so I'll put some on a nail brush and give it a good hard scrub when I collect home. Ooh, I can't wait.
Archibald, do get on with it.
Sorry. Let's hear it for our next act. Still there at home? Do you think they're still there, Reginald?
I'm amazed there's anybody still here. Let's not worry about the ones we can't see. But what's next? Now for those at home, the next two might need a little description. Imagine, if you will, a couple of corking girls dressed as a couple of swells, passing themselves off as a couple of singing bells. But you won't be in a hurry to ring these two. And here they are. For those of you at home, I suggest you cover your ears, and for those in the audience, your eyes as well. And if you've got any free hands left, wallop them together for Binge and Hackett.
Back here! Look at all this marvellous audience, and they come especially to see us.
Well, of course they have, dear. They've been clamouring, absolutely clamouring since we were last here. Do you know, it's been almost 5 years.
Has it really? How time flies.
Absolutely.
No, that I think she's forgotten the sherry.
Excuse us, ladies and gentlemen. My goodness, she has. Girl, come here, young girl. You forgot our sherry. Thank you.
Possibly sing without the sherry. It's the only thing that will lubricate the vocal cords.
Really, you know, these young girls these days, they're flippity gibbets, every one of them.
But you know, dear, she rather reminds me of myself when I was her age.
Well, we were both head turners, you know, at our time, weren't we, dear? And never more so than when we were on our grand adventure.
To the New World.
Oh, yes, on the Queen Mary, no less.
Dinner every night at the captain's table.
It was such fun, wasn't it, Barney dear? Do you remember just before we went, we had tea with Noel.
Dear Noel.
That's Noel
Coward, you know.
And he said, girls, he said, go to America and take it by storm.
And we did, didn't we, dear?
Oh, yes, indeed, we did. In fact, do you remember that American song?
Yes, it was on the wireless all the time. And we sang it at the Waldorf Astoria.
Oh, we did, yes.
And we were so successful, they had us back every night for a week.
Actually, you know, I think, ladies and gentlemen, here I'd like to hit. Wouldn't you? Yes, you would. I'll play about the piano. Happy days are here again, the skies above are clear again. Let's sing a song of cheer. Happy days are here again. All together, shouting now, there's blue and blue and doubt it now. So let's tell the world about it now. Happy days are here again. All your troubles are gone. There'll be no more from now on. Say, happy days are here again. The skies above are clear again. So let's sing a song of cheer again. Happy days are here again. And one more time together now. Happy days are here again. The skies above are clear again. So let's sing a song of cheer again. Happy days are here again. And thank you.
I think they'd like to hear that little song that we sang all that time ago. Do you remember?
Oh, the song we sang 5 years ago. Yes, I think they would. I can see the anticipation on their faces. Now then, we will sing, ladies and gentlemen, your favourite song, and then you will know that Christmas has truly arrived. Have yourselves a merry little Christmas. Let your hearts be light. From now on, your troubles will be out of sight. Have yourselves a merry little Christmas. Make the Yuletide gay. From now on, your troubles will be far away. Now we are as in old days, but with one day is over. Faithful friends, what dear to us, gather near to us once more. Through the years we all will be together in faiths unknown. So high the shining star upon the highest bough, and have yourselves a merry little Christmas now. Oh, this is wonderful as us.
Just a little joke.
So, Merry Christmas, good night, until the next time.
Well, thank you, ladies, if indeed ladies you are. And so, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we approach the end of this show. So, liven up those larynxes, throttle up the throats, and loosen those lungs. Tap out the pipe on the mantelpiece there, Grandpa. We're all going to be singing along in a minute. But first of all, you've got to watch the lovely fillies and boys of the Victoria Park Players singing one of your favourite songs in a way never before heard.
Or rehearsed.
Shut up, Archie, that's a good chap. A never before heard version of A Winter Wonderland. I say, don't we need to have some other chaps on stage for this? Come on, every side, every side. We can, really good. Is there a certain way we're supposed to stand? Yes. No, we need to stand. No, stop! Nothing here, producer. Somewhere. There we are. There they go. Oh, gosh. Oh, here it is.
Walking in a winter wonderland.
When you're in town, as we dream.
I must ask you to check your electronic devices, these newfangled things I understand some of you may have with you this evening, and please do switch them off so we do not have any disturbances in tonight's performance. Now, I would like to welcome the cast to the stage.
Welcome to this, the Victoria Park Players Summer Show.
Christmas!
Ah, yes indeed, our Christmas show. Most unfortunately, as some may remember, the airwaves in the summer were filled with news of Great Britain withdrawing, some would say prematurely and without correct precautions, from the League of Nations. Well, interest in that little upset seems to have waned, so we have again been granted just enough wireless space for this, our brand new summer Christmas! Yes, indeed, Christmas show. But where better to start than with a visit from everybody's favourite schoolboy and his chums. This one's by a proper writer, so those of you here in the audience, please pay it due respect. We present William and the Christmas Party by Richard Compton, clearly one of the marvellous Compton family, footballers, cricketers, and evidently writers.
It was Rishwell Crompton, and she's a woman.
A woman? Not Richard, a woman?
Yes, now do it properly, please.
Well, please enjoy, if you can, a little of William and the Christmas Party, written by a woman.
Now, I would like to welcome the cast to the stage.
evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, your Royal Highnesses, should you be favouring us with your eagle ear. Welcome to this, the Victoria Park Players Summer Show.
Christmas!
Ah, yes indeed, our Christmas show. Most unfortunately, as some may remember, the airwaves in the summer were filled with news of Great Britain withdrawing, some would say prematurely and without correct precautions, from the League of Nations. Well, interest in that little upset seems to have waned, so we have again been granted just enough wireless space for this, our brand new summer Christmas! Yes, indeed, Christmas show. But where better to start than with a visit from everybody's favourite schoolboy and his chums. This one's by a proper writer, so those of you here in the audience, please pay it due respect. We present William and the Christmas Party by Richard Compton, clearly one of the marvellous Compton family, footballers, cricketers, and evidently writers.
It was Rishwell Crompton, and she's a woman.
A woman? Not Richard, a woman?
Yes, now do it properly, please.
Well, please enjoy, if you can, a little of William and the Christmas Party, written by a woman.